You know why? You know why? Because integrity doesn't work that way. That's why I'm done.
Well, I think that, you know, that...
Your first fight, okay, you won the battle. Tonight you lost the war. Because when you lose definitively like that, it's over.
We had a face-off, and he's dancing because he loves the limelight. He don't care about his son. He just loves the limelight, and he's dancing. He come right next to me, and I thought, you know, let me just shake your hand. And I pulled him into a hug, and he put his hand like that up to me. I actually felt like I wanted to. And so when he tried to shake my hand tonight, I thought, I ain't playing your games, mate. I ain't playing your games. You know, and I thought to myself, no, I don't even think I'll speak to him again because I find he's the right prat. He's an idiot.
I tried my best. And listen, the kid fought hard, he fought tough. He's got power, this kid. You know, he was bigger on me, bigger than...
He did what he needed to do to win. He fought a great fight. And I'm not here to talk about me. He's a tough man. He's a great fighter, and I respect him.
Everything. The way Chris boxed there just showed you how hard making the weight was for him last time. The older he is, the way I could get you down to 2 stone. You might not be able to tie your shoelaces, but I can get you down. So even though he got down to it, you saw the effect of it there. It looked like a man walking in slow motion in quicksand. Conor was all over him. Well deserved. Well deserved to the end. Chris had nothing to give. And that, you remember the last fight, Chris had nothing left to give. Conor did. And the way Conor boxed, he did. He never left him alone. Ripped his heart out. He did the right thing.
I knew Conor would win. I actually thought Conor would have stopped him. And it's only when Conor caught him in the 12th round. He was slipping a lot of the punches, and Conor never really caught him flush until the 12th round.
Fading, aging Chris Eubank Jr. there, a guy that was a shell of his former self. You know, again, not taking anything away from Conor's performance, but Chris, you know, has clearly come to the end of the road. He looked like a shot fighter there tonight, which is quite...
Thoughts, right? I think Conor Benn sound, like I know him quite well. Eubank shot to bits, done, finished. Terrible. I never said he was awful. He was terrible. I'm not a great fighter, but he was terrible by his standards. He was awful. He was terrible. He was shot to bits. His balance is gone. Every time he got hit in the head, he looked startled and looked like he didn't want to be there. His jab, he was snatched.
Get a Benn victory, and it was a beautiful boxing display by Conor. Really, really good, and he deserves his success after a very, very tough few years.
You let everyone down rings louder when you hear Chris Eubank Sr. losing himself in that frantic final round. While he begged for a moment of magic, Conor Benn had already written the ending. The control, the composure, the dominance all belonged to Benn, not the Eubank corner.
Last round, I was shouting, Rastafari! Lick him up, Rastaf! Lick him up! Lick him! No, I got into the feeling.
Conor speaks with a sincerity you rarely hear in moments like this. He makes it clear that beyond the noise and the promotion, and even after all that disappointment, the bond between Chris Eubank Jr. and his father stands untouched. Boxing comes and goes, but that relationship never leaves.
Outside of everything else, outside of all the noise and the promotion and the fight, your relationship with your dad never goes. That's always there. That's long-standing. That's without boxing. You know, what's boxing? You know, because I picked the relationship with my dad.
Conor showed exactly why he is being called the new star of British boxing. Eddie Hearn saying he won every round and busted Eubank to the body simply proves how complete that performance was. This was not emotion, this was pure control. A welterweight stepping up to middleweight and re-avenging a defeat that haunted the Benn family for 35 years tells you everything about his mentality. He boxed smart, he boxed mature, and he delivered the kind of disciplined schooling that forced even the critics to admit the levels have changed. Concentrate please was the message, and Conor answered perfectly.
Schooling, really. He won every round, dropped it, 10 more seconds, the fight's over. Different kind of fight, obviously, to the first fight, but needed to be. Needed to box smart and not use his emotions in there. I thought he boxed really well, busted him up to the body, and yeah, massive win for a welterweight to come up to middleweight and avenge that defeat and finally get a victory for the Benn family in the 4th episode.
35 years in the making. Yeah, no need for a trilogy, no?
No, we want to move back there. Conor's the new star of British boxing, you know what I mean? Look, he's filled Tottenham twice and You know, he needed to be a bit smarter there. You know how exciting he is, but he just needed every round. I was just saying to him, just concentrate, please.
Conor walked into this knowing exactly what the conversation would be. Liam Goff calling Eubank badly drained only highlights how tilted the conditions were against Conor in the first place. People forget that Conor was the one giving up the natural size and stepping into a non-title fight with ridiculous stipulations that favored Eubank. The check weight, the pressure, the history, everything pointed to a messy scenario. Yet it was Conor who delivered the performance with composure, while Eubank again looked terrible under the same conditions. When you are truly the better fighter you make, even a drained opponent look levels beneath you, and Conor did that.
He shouldn't, because one, it's a non-title fight. Two, the IBF have a check weight, yes, but it's actually more than this check weight is, which is 12 pounds for the IBF. This was only 10 pounds. So for me, and again, non-title, so none of this should have really happened. And I said that if it goes ahead again with the same stipulations, Eubank looked terrible first time, he'll probably look even worse the second time. And if he wins, okay, you have to win with one hand tied behind drop, and if you lose, you can't really go and turn around and say, look what I've done, it's amazing. Well, not really. I mean, you fought a guy who's badly drained. So that was what I was thinking going into this fight.
Conor forced Chris Eubank Jr. to acknowledge reality. When a proud fighter like Eubank Jr. says Conor put on a hell of a fight and did everything that was asked of him, that speaks volumes. This was not a lucky night. This was Conor executing the game plan with complete authority and making a man who always talks about going to war admit that he had been outperformed. Conor handled the dangers, Conor controlled the risk, and by the end of it, even Eubank could only offer congratulations because the gap in sharpness, focus, and hunger was undeniable. Conor proved he belongs far above that level.
Regardless of, you know, the dangers and the risk, you know, we go to war. That's what we do. I tried my best. Conor Benn put on a hell of a fight. He had a great performance. He did everything that was asked of him, and I congratulate him for his performance tonight. He did what he needed to do to win. He fought a great fight, and I'm not here to talk about.
Conor delivered exactly the kind of masterclass Eddie Hearn described. Staying switched on and composed was the difference, and he showed he is simply much better than Chris Eubank. The size disadvantage? The weight classes. None of it mattered when Conor dictated the tempo from start to finish. Eddie calling this potentially Eubank's last fight tells you how decisive the performance really was. Conor did not just win. He removed the excuses, he removed the debates, he proved that skill and discipline will always beat a drained and fading opponent who relies on toughness. The better boxer won, and everyone in the arena saw it clearly.
Class performance. I know it wasn't as exciting as the first fight, but that's what he had to do. He just had to stay switched on, be composed, and just, I said, he's much better than Chris Eubank. I mean, the problem was giving away 2 weight classes, and Eubank, I said going into this fight, I think this will be Eubank's last fight, and I truly believe that. I think that last fight would have taken so much out of him. He's a very brave man, and he deserves a lot of credit, but he was just beaten by the much better boxer tonight.
Conor Benn showed exactly why Johnny Nelson kept describing that pendulum swing. Conor never needed to guess what he could get away with because his pace and pressure spoke for him. Chris Eubank Jr. drained himself again, believing he could repeat the past, while Conor simply rose on his own momentum. In a sport where you can legally get killed if you weaken yourself, Conor stayed fresh and sharp while Chris removed every advantage he ever had. The constant pressure, the non-stop pace, and the controlled aggression is what snatched the fight for Conor and proved he was always the stronger man on the night.
Both. They're both going, it's like a pendulum. Conor knew what he could do, didn't think, I'm not sure what I can get away with from the last fight. For Chris, the pendulum is, he's rinsed himself down that much, he's thinking he can do it again. As I said, anybody can get down to the weight, it's what you can do with the weight. Boxing's the worst place to be if you aren't going to put yourself at a disadvantage, because it's the only place you can legally get killed. And so what Chris did was, Chris depleted any advantage he had in the first fight. And again, in this fight here, what did he expect? Conor just had to put him under pressure, keep up the pace. He took the pace, made him work constantly. And when you make him work constantly, that's how he snatched it.
Conor Benn walked into this fight like a man whose destiny was already printed across the canvas. Even Derek Chisora could feel it, saying again and again that it was written for Conor to win it. Chris Eubank Jr. had supporters calling his name, but the moment the exchanges started, it became clear that Conor had it. The sharp shots, the discipline, and the confidence were all on his side. When Chisora switched from shouting Chris to saying Conor has got it, it summed up the whole night. Conor earned every second of that victory and proved the writing on the wall was real.
I think it was all written for Conor to win it.
I need a photo.
It was Conor. It was there for Conor to win it. He won it. He dropped him in the last round. You know, I kept on saying, Chris. And then I saw them, and I said, Conor's got it.
Conor Benn keeps getting judged against names from different eras, yet he continues proving his critics wrong every time the bell rings. Dave Allen tried dismissing the win by calling Eubank faded or shot, but the truth is, Conor still had to walk in there, apply the pressure, and dismantle a man with far more experience at middleweight. Comparing him to Nigel Benn in 1990 does nothing except highlight the expectations people unfairly put on him. Conor is carving his own identity and beating Chris Eubank Jr. the way he did. Shows he belongs in big conversations at 147 or 154. He is far more dangerous than people want to admit.
To get anything away from it, he lost to a faded Eubank, and then he just beat a shot to bits one. That don't mean that he's not 147. He's not 147 champion elect on the back of that.
No, can he win a world title at 147 now though?
Maybe, but the champions aren't. They're not A-level champions. They're like the B-level champions. Barrios, Crocker, they're very good fighters, but they're not great fighters. But I'm still not sure he'll beat him. I don't think Conor Benn's a fantastic boxer. Nigel Benn, 1990, Nigel Benn would have flattened Chris Eubank Jr. in one round tonight.
Conor Benn showed real maturity in this fight, and Tony Bellew captured it perfectly. Round after round, he kept to the plan, using feints to offset Chris Eubank Jr. and refusing to be dragged into reckless exchanges. Even when Chris tried to rally in the 7th and 8th landing, those two big shots, Conor stayed disciplined and never abandoned the strategy. That is a fighter who has grown up mentally and technically. Emotion once drove him, but now he knows how to control it and use it only when needed. This performance proves Conor is evolving into a complete fighter, and his future game plans will only become sharper and more dangerous.
Round after round after round, the feints, it offset him, the game plan by Tony and Conor, and the most important thing is he keeps to it. He give it everything he had in round 7 and 8, and he landed 2 big hard shots, and he still didn't deter from the game plan, and that shows you a level of maturity. He's grown up, and he's willing to stick to a game plan to win a fight. Emotion is no longer involved. Yeah. He's got to keep that in his game plan. He's got to keep that in his process going forward. Emotion has its place in a boxing ring, but not with Conor Benn.
The fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. has left the British boxing scene buzzing with debates and admiration for Conor Benn's performance. This victory was more than just a win. It showcased Conor's tactical intelligence and ability to control the pace under pressure. He managed to remain composed despite the intensity of Chris Eubank Jr.'s attacks and the noise surrounding the fight. The mental strength he displayed was remarkable, proving that his focus and preparation are unmatched. Every punch was measured and deliberate, and he capitalized on every opening without overextending himself. Fans witnessed a fighter who is not only physically strong, but strategically brilliant, demonstrating that Conor Benn is ready to dominate at the highest level. His ability to adapt and execute his plan flawlessly shows why he is rapidly becoming the new star of British boxing. The way he balanced aggression with control will be remembered as a masterclass performance that sets a benchmark for all welterweights aspiring to rise in the sport. Conor's victory is a testament to his resilience, determination, and natural boxing IQ. This fight has solidified his status as a formidable force in the division and leaves fans eager for what comes next in his career. Join the discussion below and let us know how far you think Conor Benn can go and who you want to see him face next in a battle for supremacy in British boxing.